Hello, and thank you for joining us for another episode of the PHNX podcast, brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's #1 sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcast, and leave us a 5-star review. Lindsay wrote my script today for the show, so I'm just reading off the tablet.
Jock was not in on the joke, so he was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Usually sounds a lot smoother than that.
Just a little bit. How is everybody? We got Saul Bookman, Jock Landale, and Girth, as always, Gerald Bourget. Jock, how you been, man? You good?
Good. I'm good, man. We've come back from a nice little road trip there, so things are all right. Happy to be home, cruising. Phoenix is hot, which is great. We're starting to come around to some summer or spring weather, whatever you want to call it. So, yeah, no, things are good.
Yeah, he should be happy because he got rid of that horrible haircut. That's what it was.
Straight to it. Straight to it.
My man needed a fade in the worst way.
Yeah, it got bad there for a second.
Have you watched this show? So none of us should be talking shit about how anybody looks, how anybody dresses.
You were bragging on me for walking in like sweats and a t-shirt, no Canadian tux today, and now it's like the haircut's bad. What's next?
First of all, I didn't bag on your clothes because that's how we always dress. Well, not him today.
I got a date after this show. I dress guys.
Who with?
My wife. I hope. If not, I just outed myself. That's not good.
Yeah, that's a fucked up way to be put on the spot.
Oops. Like, thanks, Jock.
Who's your date with? It's my wife now.
Sweetheart, we're going on a date tonight.
I've had the reservation booked for weeks.
Oh man!
Well, I'm glad we've.
We started that off with a banger after your
Lindsay
crappy
didn't
little
write this part of the script.
Gerald, do you want to make fun of anybody?
I have nothing.
Well, we've had an interesting week when it comes to the Suns, and we'll get into some fun stuff. But of course, we got to talk about the news that broke after our show yesterday. Kevin Durant officially going to be out 2 to 3 weeks with an ankle sprain before he's reevaluated. How is everybody feeling? And Jock, I'm going to start with you because you have obviously the closest perspective of all this. What's the temperature like around things in terms of what's going on with you?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we just started kind of getting used to life with Kevin Durant, and we were all loving it. So the initial thing was like, damn, like how bad is it? And we hope he's going to be okay as soon as possible. And then, I mean, I really try and get I tried to gauge the temperature today at practice, just, checked in with him to ask how he was. And I mean, he's in pretty high spirits. So I think that, he said it was definitely a big improvement today, which is great to hear. I didn't get any of the specifics, but we've just got to continue the little role that we've been on since that trade deadline with him out of the picture for, a couple of weeks and make sure, when he comes back to us in the, the lead up week or two before playoffs, we hit the ground running. The thing with Kevin Durant is, and I've never seen anything like this, is he just slots in so seamlessly. Yeah. So it's like, okay, the guy misses 2 to 3 weeks, frustration, we want him there as much as possible. But we don't really need to get used to life with him because, like you saw from the start, he just slotted in so like it was seamless. Yeah. So I think that's like a real upside to what's going on. And now he gets, I don't want to say it's rest because the rehabilitation process of any injury is sometimes harder than actually playing games. But like he gets some time off his legs to just be really locked in on those playoffs and that push that we'll make. So that you can take the good with the bad, I suppose.
It looks kind of. From my perspective, looking at the entire, I think you guys have 16 games remaining. I actually think that this couldn't have come. You don't want it to happen, but if it came, I think you guys are in an opportunity where you're not having to have some brutal road trips. You don't have some crazy back-to-backs outside of maybe Monday, Tuesday coming up with the Warriors and the Bucks. Yeah, but I think the schedule actually lines up pretty favorably for you guys, especially the amount of home games you have left. And I think that's I think these guys can definitely overcome that. Like
Yeah.
I would be shocked if they just went on some skid. It's so weird to talk about that. Like he's not part of the team.
No, but to your point, before he came back from the initial injury, you guys were rolling pretty well as it was. So it's not like you're unfamiliar with playing with this group. For you personally, though, it seemed like you and KD were starting to build a connection out there. Is it a little disappointing that you don't still have that connection there?
Yeah, I was enjoying playing with him a lot. He just reads the game, and you know, I heard Book talk about it the other day, but guy being the best scorer potentially of all time, he just lets the game come to him. He doesn't really ever force the matter, and I think that was really enjoyable. Those last couple games was just playing with him. It was, how do I make his life easier? And we really figured that out in Chicago, especially. I felt that, you know, he was so willing to get off the ball and play in that short role, and then we kind of just picked apart their defense. But then in Dallas as well, we kind of, you know, in the second half especially, we were really figuring out some little nuances to get the defense off of him because they were just hugging up on him the whole time. So being able to have a conversation with a guy of his caliber and really like work through it is pretty special, and I was loving it.
One of the things that we all noticed, sorry, Gerald, you'll get a word here in a second. I apologize.
I'll talk at some
Just sit there all show.
One of the things that we all noticed watching these games, and really, KD doesn't really give you a lot of body language. But Jock, I'm here to tell you that like he gives a lot of body language towards you. Like he's always he'll I've seen him be like, yeah, let's go, Jock. I've seen him slap you in the chest.
I think Jock's probably seen that.
Felt it, yeah.
I mean, have you noticed that he's kind of gravitated towards you for whatever reason? Or is he just like that with everybody? We just don't see it.
I'm honestly, I'm not 100% sure.
It's okay. You can tell us if you guys are best friends. It's fine.
Nah,
Wait,
I mean,
he's your best friend now? I thought that was my position.
no.
Damn it.
Yeah, no, I think that we've just like we developed that chemistry on the court pretty quickly, and I mean, it kind of happened. You saw it early on in the season with Book and them. It was just, you know, I think they enjoy the toughness and the intensity that I play with, and I don't necessarily think it's like you know, they love playing with me more so than anyone, but I think there's just an appreciation there for it. Maybe I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, I mean, I definitely noticed it in the Bulls game a little bit. You know, we were all kind of getting around each other, and it was just that there was a bit of a team vibe going on like that. And my brother was actually texting me from back home and sent me a clip of it, and he was like, because he's been one of the biggest Kevin Durant
That's awesome.
praises of ever, and he was like, "This is so fucking sick," like blah blah blah. But in the moment, you're just like, you know. I try and really just stay grounded with all that stuff, and I'm like, he's a good bloke, he's a good teammate, and you know, I try and just get on that kind of vibe. So, yeah, I haven't really picked up on too much favoritism in that regard, but it's been very enjoyable to play with him.
Have you called him a dickhead yet?
Jeez, man.
Right? I mean, he can't help himself.
If it makes you feel better, he was saying, because I asked him about the connection that you guys have had on the court, because he's been in some of those bench heavy lineups, and he was saying like, yeah, we've built chemistry pretty quick because I've just beamed him the ball and he's been able to catch it. Did you kind of like get hit with one? We're like, oh shit, okay.
There was one that he beamed me in Chicago, and I had to go watch the clip back because I was like, damn, I might have really just stolen like a skip pass to the corner or something, stuck my hand up and just like somehow just stuck there, and then I shot a floater. But yeah, I mean, that's, you know, Patty Mills used to tell me that one of my best traits is just being in the right place at the right time a lot. So just being able to read that game, which I attribute a lot to playing in Europe. I feel like that's something that has really helped me in that regard. So yeah, I don't know, but it's been a lot of fun, and just understanding that my job isn't to. I think that a lot of the pressure has just like internally has been taken off of. Okay, I need to go out there and score in the second unit and blah blah blah. Now I kind of flipped the switch on it, and it's made my life a lot more easy and enjoyable. Is how do I make Book's job a lot easier when he's in the second unit? How do I make KD's job easier in the second unit? And that just comes from setting screens, reading what the defense is kind of giving us, and then just, you know, crashing those O boards as hard as I can and getting some tip outs and extra possessions. So I feel like I've simplified it a lot, especially on that road trip, and that's really helped me feel like I'm playing some of my best basketball of the year.
You got another one, Gerald?
No.
Okay.
Okay. All right, cool.
Have you called him a dickhead?
You really went for that.
Yeah, he did.
No, I don't think so. That's reserved for you and myself.
Nice. I'll take it. You know what I also take? A Four Peaks beer.
There you go.
Any chance I get, I'll take a Four Peaks beer. The Suns brew that you can see on the table, one of my favorites, the Wild Wheat. Also one of my favorites as well. Jared, we rarely get to ask you, what is your favorite Four Peaks?
Oh, it's definitely the Suns brew. I order it every time I go there with the chicken tenders, and then like the can is really cool because it has the Suns logo on it. It's purple. It's a thing of beauty. I love that beer.
It really is. I love the. Again, I say this a lot, but I never thought a beer can could feel like a work of art, and that one does.
Yeah.
To me. Don't forget, you can follow them on social at Four Peaks Brew to get all the latest information about their fantastic beers, events going on at the 8th Street Pub. They had that cool beer can derby a couple weeks ago. You'll be up to date on those kind of things. And remember, you can go to fourpeaks.com/events for all your beer week entertainment as well. And for me, every week's beer week, but they have a specific beer week out there at Four Peaks. You already know the best place to spend St. Patty's Day. That's right. It's not Craig Morgan's house. It's Four Peaks 8th Street Pub, of course. Hang with your favorite degenerates, some of us, and enjoy damn good time. Just me.
Yeah,
Oh, that's true. I am my own favorite degenerate. Must be 21 years or older to enjoy and enjoy responsibly. And then our friends at Circle K, our newest partner here at PHNX, have a great offer for you guys. We're excited to be partnered with them. They are our favorite place to go grab a quick snack.
We have a whole snack rack, too.
We do. We have a snack rack here.
Fantastic.
If I need a quick drink, I run over to the one on 7th
Hey,
Street.
Derek, will you bring the snack rack over here?
Oh, Derek's
There
going to
we
bring
go.
a snack rack.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Derek's got it. Let's go, baby.
They have my favorite road trip snacks. They have the best deals anywhere on these things. And my favorite location, again, is that one on 7th Street, right off the freeway. I stop there on a regular. I feel like Derek's going to drop this thing.
Here's
Here we
Derek,
go.
folks. There's a snack rack.
We're going to bring that thing out to
Bye,
our
Derek.
meetup soon. Right there. There, the snack rack goes away. Jock, you need a snack? You good?
No, I'm good.
All right. So we've got something excited, though, kicking off our partnership with our friends at Circle K. We've teamed up for an amazing giveaway opportunity. If you text PHNX to 31310, that's 31310, you can sign up for an opportunity to win $500 in a gas card, which who couldn't use that kind of money for gas right now as it keeps going up in price. You can see the show notes for details right now after the show. Make sure to do that because that helps us. It helps you. And you can win that. One of the biggest things right now, discussions is the Western Conference and just the playoff picture.
Mm-hmm.
Things are so bunched up. I don't remember a time, maybe ever in my 30 plus years of watching this league, that it's been this close. Basically, 2 through 13 are all in the mix this year. I mean, your former team, the Spurs, are the only ones that committed to not being in the picture anymore.
And the Rockets. The Rockets.
Too many
too.
trades.
Well, the
the
Rockets
Rockets.
too.
The Rockets.
We expected the Rockets there, but
Yeah.
So how do we feel about this? Is this just a byproduct of parity in the league? Is this the West is just that stacked right now that these teams are this close, or is load management making things a little bit closer in the league as well?
I think that I think the play-in tournament has been a big part of this. I think that we just don't see as many teams tanking as we used to, and there's no real race for the bottom outside of those 2 teams. So I think that, whilst I was in the play-in tournament last year, and you don't want to be in the play-in tournament, especially if you're the 7th and 8th seed, it's really picked up the league as a whole in terms of just making it as competitive as possible, 1 through 13, let's say. On top of that, I think it's pretty stacked. We've played we've played everyone at some point this year, and there's never been a team that I've just been like, wow, we have gotten no shot against these guys. And there's never been a team where I've been like, okay, we're just going to absolutely dominate them night in and night out. So I think that it's pretty evenly shaped up right now. I still love our chances, but there's just so much going on right now in this this conference.
I think the biggest thing for me is the load management portion of this. I feel like to a degree has evened things out. It has made the teams that in the preseason were considered to be the big time teams like the Clippers and such. They've kind of neutralized them a little bit. And obviously that's their own doing to a certain degree, but I think that it is kind of even things out and it's bunched everybody up in the middle to a degree. And it's also, listen, it gives the teams that were not successful before an opportunity to find that chemistry if they don't load manage to be able to build upon that chemistry. And you're seeing that with teams like the Kings, and they're being able to thrive despite the fact that nobody picked them to be in the playoffs before the season started. So I think it's a great thing for the league, and it makes the last 2-3 weeks of the season even that much more fun, because now you everybody's scoreboard watching every single game. Like even, I mean, Memphis Warriors last night, you're like watching to see, what kind of movement can the Suns make and all this other stuff. Yeah. So it's fun.
Yeah. I mean, the standings are so bunched up, and because of the play-in, like it's not just, before it was the top 8 teams. And even this year, if you look at it, like the Mavs in 8th are 1.5 games ahead of the Lakers. Normally that's a little bit of separation, but now it's the top 10. And then there are 3 teams right below that line. So it's kind of crazy what that has done. I don't know as much about load management. I do think we're more careful now with injuries than in the past, just because the science has evolved to that point. But also, like, it's been a ton of injuries. Like Curry's missed time, Zion's missed time. You guys have had a guy on the injury report every other day.
It's crazy.
It's just been wild in that regard. So the teams that have stayed healthy, like the Nuggets, the Kings, they're at the top for the reason. But it is fun to watch, because like one win or one loss for those teams stacked like 5 through 9, you can jump from 9 to 5 overnight pretty much. It's kind of fun.
The playing tournament thing is an interesting point though, because where in the past, if you were 11, 12, 13, you pack it in and well, players don't, but organization wise, you start changing your mindset about we're fighting for this playoff spot to we're looking to next year. But now there's no point in doing that, because usually 10 through 13, they're within striking distance. And what was that like as a player last year, getting into that play and knowing, every game does matter more because we have this now?
Well, there was like a legit conversation at one point around between, the top end of the spectrum in the locker room and Pop and on what direction they were going to run it. Were we going to try and win games, or are we going to, pack it in and try and get a high draft pick? And credit to DeJounte Murray, he was the one who really led the charge on like, we want to win right now. So once that whole conversation kind of happened, I couldn't tell you when it actually happened, but once that conversation happened, it was like, all right, like let's go see how far we can take this thing. And it's funky, because it's like when we were kind of like in that in between area of, we don't know if we're going for it, we don't know if we're going to try and lose. You're just confused on a night in, night out basis of what the rotation will be, because you might not necessarily be putting the best team out there every night. It's bizarre. Really hard as a player to find enjoyment in that, I suppose. But once we kind of flipped that page and we really started, trying to win games and stuff, and we went on a little tear at the end of the year and made it into 10th or whatever it was, that was enjoyable. And then just to get that experience in the play-ins is like, if I hadn't had that experience in the play-ins, I wouldn't have known what playoff basketball even looked like going into what will be one of the, big contenders for a championship. So then all of a sudden it's like, this is my first experience in the playoffs. The intensity, the crowds, the atmosphere, all of the media hype, all of that stuff. So I'm glad that I got that experience last year. I think it's big just to be able to get that going forward. But I think, to your point, I think that the league has been really unlucky with injuries this year. As you said, a lot of the superstars have been out for extensive amounts of time, but nowadays they don't rush you back. It's on you as a player. Like, how do you feel? When are you ready? And I think that they really take it easy on the recovery period, because they want you to be 110% rather than 99%. Yeah. That you're not pushing yourself out there. Like in Europe, when I was there, and if I had an injury, I would be asked to play at 70%. And that's just kind of the difference in the league and other leagues around the world, is that management of players being like legit assets nowadays, I think is real. And, they really try and look after you because there's a long-term picture rather than a win everything right now picture.
You don't have to answer this, but you bring up DeJounte being a voice that said, hey, we want to play for this. Was there anybody that was like, nah, we're good? Like, I can't imagine a player would be like, nah, we're good. Let's get that draft pick.
I got reservations in the Bahamas, man. Let's wrap this up.
Nah, there was none of that. But I think that's a legit thing. Like, I'm sure guys really do start planning holidays and stuff, based off of being knocked out early. So, I don't know if that's real or not, but I've heard,
But it wasn't in your locker room.
Nah, not in our locker room. We were all very eager to try and play as long as possible.
I mean, the D-backs guys, they're always planning their vacations around the end of September anyway, so they know what it feels like to be in that position.
That's tough.
Jeez.
Sorry. Well,
let make this clear. You were talking about our D-backs hosts, not the players, right?
Sure.
Oh God.
So, looking at it from a Suns perspective, how important is home court to you guys in this? Because with it as compact, it's as logical to say you could get to second as it is you could fall to sixth with everything in the next few weeks. So, how important is home court?
I think it's important to anyone. Not that I'm biased or anything, but I'll base this off of last year's. Experience. And then I FaceTimed Mikal yesterday and we were talking about it as well. But the fan bases here and how they operate on a night in and night out basis of being like, I think is one of the most passionate fan bases in the NBA. So that advantage of having that behind us, like I felt that last year. There was no stadium I walked into where I was like, damn, like this crowd is pumping. And given you guys were the best team in the NBA last year, it was like a no-brainer that this was the place that you wanted to avoid if you were an away team, just because of what they had going on with their fan base. But I think any time that you can kind of string out, your rest at home and start here, have one extra game here, is a huge advantage. And that just comes from experience in finals elsewhere. But I mean, anyone wants to have home court advantage if they can get it. I don't think anyone wants to start on the road, no matter what.
I think, and you guys can each tell me if I'm wrong, but it felt like the finals year, that crowd was on like an all-time high, right? Obviously, we were all, stuck because of COVID, and we didn't get a chance to go out to a lot of these games. And when the playoffs hit, that's when they kind of opened things up. So everything was kind of right place, right time. And last year, I felt like maybe, let's be honest. I think everybody was like, oh, we're a 64-win team. We're the best team in the league. Like, let's just get to the Western Conference Finals, and then that's when we'll get really excited, right? And then obviously the round 2 happened. I feel like this year is going to be more like the finals run than it was last year, just because of the fact that KD is here. I feel like people are electric about the fact that we're back in contention, and not that we weren't in contention before, but obviously your chances increase when you get a guy like KD in the fold. So I think we're about to see like an electric atmosphere once the playoffs hit this year.
Yeah, I think as someone who was in the building for both playoff runs, like the 2021 year was unbelievable. I've never heard an arena in any sport that electric. In every game there was something going on. During timeouts, there was a kid that like took his shirt off or whatever. There was something every single game. And last year it was still very loud, but there was that unease that crept in when Book got hurt, when CP3 was playing through the quad thing or whatever. Like, it was just a little different. I do think this year, like, you're going to enjoy it. I think it's going to be really cool.
I mean, we experienced a little bit of a lot, like even last night before, or 2 nights ago before KD got injured, there was a real buzz throughout that entire game in the arena. And once we started really getting going in that second half, it was like we haven't had this too many times this year. So you can already feel little inklings of it, and I think it's just going to, explode once we get to playoffs.
I think the other thing that wasn't mentioned about 2021 was the playoff drought, being broken and all that. There was a lot of pent up energy because of that.
It's been 10 years.
It's all right.
10 years.
Longest drought in franchise history. So I think that's played a big part in it. And there was a lot of angst over those years. And you know what I wish we had back then?
Little OGs.
It would have taken the edge off of a lot of the angst and annoyance for. It's
the best edible in the game.
It is.
And they got that new Happy Balance THC, the CBD gummy, 1-to-1. It'll calm your aches and pains. I was looking at my knee because I was like,
"Is that where your aches and pains are?"
This is where all the pain comes in.
All those years of high school basketball.
Yeah. And then it kind of settles you down and chills you out, so that way you don't lose your shit. Because Espo's trying to dog your high school basketball career. So yeah, you're good.
I'm not dogging. You were a legend in high school basketball here. I was a failed basketball manager in high school. You have the better career.
Were you like one of those basketball managers where, like, on senior night they let you go in for 5 minutes?
No, I didn't even get that.
Yeah.
I
wouldn't have given that to you either. That's why I was asking.
I'm gonna be honest. My basketball management career ended in middle school. I wasn't good enough to make the middle school team. I wore the Canadian tuxedo and on the sidelines. And
have you seen?
Makes sense.
Have you seen my guy with Devin Booker when he first got here?
No.
Devin's throwing him alley oops on like a 9-foot hoop.
No,
it was his rookie year. There used to be on the second level of the arena, like the
I'm gonna have
gorilla.
You have to pull that video up at some point.
How do I have that video?
And then Book in his at training camp his first year beat me in 2K like 160 to 43. Like it was that video.
You just suck. Like,
I suck in general. This is about the only thing I can do marginally well.
And he's struggling to read the. You struggle to do it anyway.
The show, Lindsay writes a little funny. I'm going to blame it on Lindsay. Which we were talking about OGs. That's right.
Yes.
It's official. As Saul mentioned, those OGs new strawberries and cream Happy Balance gummies are live on the shelves. I don't know that you could be tape delayed on the shelves, but anyways, as always, you can find them at your local dispensary by checking out ogsbrands.com. Must be 21 and older to enjoy.
Hey, Espo, I hate to interrupt, but we are getting a call from someone.
Gerald's here, so who's calling?
In.
Hello, men. It is I. Yes, God is a woman. And yes, erectile dysfunction is a synchro joke I play on you. But just as in the game
of life,
I have provided paths for you to find help with your ailments. ED is not embarrassing unless you refuse to seek help. I should know. I made 50% of men have symptoms that get in the way of wanting or enjoying sex. I quite literally built you a community so you don't have to feel alone in your journey. Now, since I know it can be hard for many of you men to find a starting point, let me help you on your journey to treat ED. Roman is a digital health clinic for men. No waiting rooms, no hassle, and when they deliver, they're discreet and quick. The opposite of what you're trying to be in the bedroom. I quite literally cannot make this any easier for you, so to learn more about how you can achieve your personal sexual health goals, go to ro.co/PHNX to get 20% off your entire first order. That's ro.co/PHNX.
Goodbye.
I have follow-up questions, God. Are you still there?
Yes. God, it's me, Mary. What is that? Wait, serious? Why is Julia Childs God?
I didn't know God was from Wales.
Oh, and I'll be happy to know that.
Oh, yeah. Good job.
Oh my God.
There was a lot going on there.
Wait, Rick Jock had no idea that this was happening?
No
so
one
he was
gave
like,
me any heads up.
He was like, what the hell's happening right now?
Just be happy God stepped in and did it, because all my ad was just a bunch of jock puns and with this. So it's probably safer that God's.
You're lucky our ads guy also was not part of this, because he had some other things to say about it. And I was like, come on, guy.
Oh my
God. Terrible.
You know what? I wish I had a hat today, because Jock had the right idea. Pull it down.
Just pull it down. Just pull
Act
it down.
like you're not here.
Yeah.
Everything will be okay.
We'll get through it.
We'll get through it together. You mentioned that you spoke to Mikal recently, and we. How enjoyable is it for you to see your former teammates succeeding in Brooklyn and playing well out
Yeah,
there.
it's awesome. It's awesome. Him, Cam, they're both doing great. You know, seeing them out there with my boy Patty last night playing well as well. It's just a good mix. So Mikal FaceTimed me, or I FaceTimed him 2 days ago, and that, you know, him, Cam, and Patty were all on the training table, going into their game last night against Milwaukee. So I got to talk some shit with them for a bit. But yeah, I'm happy for him, man. He's making the most of that opportunity. I've heard they've got some Brooklyn Bridges things going on out there. And so, like,
Gotta make that money, right?
Pretty sweet. So I still fucking hate him, but he's a good guy. He's a good guy. So I'm pumped for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's been cool to watch him just take kind of the breakout he was having here and carry it over there. He's averaging 25 on 50, 40, 90 splits so far with the Nets. Like, he's just been balling out. I am curious, how has he been kind of adjusting? I know he was saying he understands, like, it's Kevin Durant as far as the trade, but just how has he been sort of acclimating to a new team, a new city, all that?
I think he just, I think it's part of life. It's a part of the game. And, you know, I've not directly asked him about it because I just don't think that's something I need to really chime in on. But, you know, he sounds like he's doing well. And I think that he's showing that he's doing well. Like a guy who is really in his feels and upset about it, I'm sure wouldn't be adjusting to a new environment as well as he has, and you know, shooting those splits and playing as well as he has. You know, there'd be a bit more sulking going on, feeling sorry for yourself. But I think he's just taken what's happened and just run with it, and it's great to see. And I think it shows, you know, the level of professionalism that Mikal holds as an individual, and yeah, he's crushing it. So, you know, all praise to him.
Let's be fair, though.
What does he hate about Brooklyn the most?
The traffic, I think.
There we go. I knew there was something.
Who doesn't? But you're acting like he acted. Well, it wasn't like they sent him to freaking Indiana or OKC. They sent him to
pretty solid
to one of the best cities of the world. So I guess there's worse places you could wind
But
up,
like,
right?
to come from, it's like a complete. Well, if you're talking about the city, sure.
Yeah,
like, you know,
that's what I'm
great. Yeah, okay. Well, like the environment of the team that he's on, it's like the Toronto Raptors 2.0. It's a completely different style of basketball that they play there as opposed to here. So I thought that there was going to be like a little struggle period for a second there, and he just went in there and dropped 40, and it was like, okay, he's good.
Did you call up your boy Patty and you're like, hey, take care of these guys? Like, did you?
No, fuck no. Not their babysitter. It's not like dudes are doing that for me. So I was like, whatever.
Pop didn't call Monty and say, hey, take care of Jock?
No.
All right.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Well, now you opened up the can of worms. Did Pop ever say anything to Monty about you that you know of?
I've never asked.
Oh, you got to ask?
Never asked.
Monty, what'd you know about me before I showed up? I'm sure Monty has some secret stories.
I never asked. I just got on with business.
Pop just texted, make sure he gets haircuts. The guys laugh a lot if he doesn't.
You're going to pull that one out.
Thanks, man. No problem. Oh, hey, he brought it up. It's a callback joke.
A half hour ago, though.
It's called a callback joke,
Oh,
right?
okay. All right.
As if Jock doesn't hold his own with me, that he can't handle me giving him a
Fair
joke
enough.
there.
True.
So for context for the fine viewers, we were sitting in, these guys giving me a hard time about my haircut because we were sitting in the middle of the Chicago game in the fourth quarter. And it's like, it's a reasonably close game at the time. And Monty's drawing something up on the board. And I look up, and I'm not going to name names because I don't want, Monty to get angry at people laughing behind him or anything. But there's like 4 or 5 guys standing in a row just staring at me and laughing. And I'm trying to like look at the board, but I'm looking up like, what the fuck are you laughing at? Like, what's going on? And they all were just laughing at my hair because I had like this slick comb over and like, yeah, it wasn't good. So they were all giving me a hard time, and now I walk in the office here today, and everyone's doing the same thing.
Sorry, man. Well, I actually said, you got a haircut. It looks nice. And then I was like, because the other thing you had was not nice.
I thought
it's
like a backward compliment.
Yeah,
I got you.
Let me shake your hand and then slap you across the face.
That's the Bookman way. I mean,
It is.
Hey, you're one of us if you're getting
There you go.
So I got to ask one other thing. We got into debate yesterday. We were talking with a friend of the program, Dr. Adam Anacone, and we were talking about high tops versus low tops. as a player, does it matter? Does it make any difference to you as a player?
So I used to tape and wear high tops, and I started just like a lot of the pressure that should be like distributed across my legs evenly was then avoiding that because it was just so stiff and locked up and going straight to my knees. So my end of my first year in the pros out in Europe, I ended up just going low tops, no tape, and like my knee pain cleared up. So I just like, for me, that's the only reason that I wear low tops, is that like it allows a lot more range of motion in my ankles whilst I'm playing and doesn't restrict all that movement to then impact this.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think that's something people don't consider
Holy
is
shit.
the whole kinetic chain of the body. One thing is, I used to work for a sports medicine company. Why am I getting laughed at? Because you all host this. Lindsay, you want in? No, Lindsay
Get him
says
out of
she
here.
I knew
Get him out of here.
as soon as he said that word, fuck it. I was like, Gerald's gonna laugh here in a second. And then
It
you
wasn't
laugh
even me, it was
first.
Jock.
Oh, Gerald's the only one allowed
please.
to have a vocabulary.
Please continue with the kinetic chain.
I'm done.
I like
Please.
it when he uses
But
big words.
in general, though, I don't think people consider everything that goes on with you guys. I mean, athletes and performance athletes like you guys, you are a well-oiled machine. Like, you got to consider all that, especially in today's game.
No question. And I think that, like, especially in my position, playing the 5 and always being under the basket where there's a lot of individuals around, the risk for rolling your ankles probably a bit more. Like, a lot of bigs wear, you know, high tops, whatever you want to call them, and tape their ankles. But for me, it was just the trade-off between, you know, my body feeling good and the potential of rolling my ankle, which hasn't happened yet. So
That's phenomenal. I had no idea. Nobody's ever said anything like that. I mean, I've been around the game for a while. I've never heard that at all. That's fantastic. And this is why they have the highest level of, you know, training staff compared to, you know, Joe Schmo that's playing out there on the basketball court.
You mean us comparing injuries to us walking to the studio and
Yes.
turning our
Yes,
ankle?
yes,
Isn't
yes.
the same shit? Who would have guessed?
It's not the same at all.
Yeah, that was the worst part about when the KD news broke, was people who played high school basketball talking about when they twisted their ankle in high school. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's
They're
not
like,
the
oh,
same."
I just put this Velcro over the top and it just solved everything. Like, shut the fuck up. No, it didn't.
My favorite was everybody on Twitter who all of a sudden became an 8-year doctorate. Just because you were in school for 8 years does not mean you have the expertise to break down any of this. So, but you know who does have expertise? Our friends at Illegal Pizza, and their expertise is in fine Mexican food and margaritas. Yes, that is true. And if you're looking for a place to watch March Madness, Illegal Pizza is where you can get it done. Get a fat burrito, a margarita, and watch your bracket play out. And the best part is, if your bracket busts, you at least already have that margarita to drown your sorrows. And if you're hosting a watch party, you can grab a burrito box for the whole crew at your place and do that. I think we might have to do that because we got the 3 TVs here. We'll watch some games. We'll probably have to pick up some Illegal Pizza as well. Their full menu's got the tacos, the salads, the burritos, the nachos. That's what my body's built on. It's pretty obvious, and you can enjoy it as well as their full bar with cocktails and beers and their piping hot queso. And you know what? You want to get it at a discount? Happy hour every day, 3 to 6. I don't know why they call it happy hour when it's 3 hours. Everybody does this, but you can go there 3 to 6, and nothing cures that. My bracket is busted in the first round, like fresh limes, tequila, lots of tequila.
So you picked
And
ASU.
sweet agave. Yeah, we'll even see if they get in the bracket. We'll find out. Try out Illegal Pizza Coin premium or frozen margarita. Stop by for, once again, happy hour 3 to 6 every day. And Saul, I believe you have a pick of the week.
I
from
do have a pick of the
DraftKings, right?
week. The University of Arizona is playing Arizona State. And I guarantee I'm not going to pick anything from that game. I'm going to go UCLA getting upset by Oregon tonight in the Pac-12 tournament. Just take the straight money line. That's all you need to know. Take the Ducks. They played them twice. They played them close twice. The third time should be the charm.
I thought you were going to reverse jinx your team again, man. I'm
No,
disappointed.
it worked the first time. You can only do it once, and I reverse jinxed you guys because I said you guys were going to get mollywopped by UCLA, and you did. So yeah,
I reverse jinxed the Nuggets tonight on the bet show. So
he also
Ooh, I get
also
fined. I'm not supposed to say that word on
he
this
also
show,
reverse
so.
jinxed U of A because he picked ASU tonight in the money line, which is the most absurd thing ever.
I did.
These guys are not losing to these fucking Sun Devils twice in a row. There's no fucking way.
I'm not a big college basketball guy. How's your team doing, Jock? I'm not lying either.
St. Mary's is pretty good.
St. Mary's good.
St. Mary's is good, and then they got smacked by 40 against Gonzaga in the championship game.
Oh, that's,
thanks for bringing that up.
Sorry to bring that up.
So no NCAA tournament, you say?
Nah, they'll be in the tournament.
Well,
they'll be in the tournament.
If you want to pick any of our alma maters in the tournament, you can do it at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Now, when you sign up, use that code PHNX. New customers can bet $5 on any NBA game and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Only at the DraftKings Sportsbook, as official sports betting partner of the NBA. Use that code PHNX. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes.
As a general rule of thumb, I think any team that loses to a West Coast Conference team by 35 plus points should not make the tournament. ASU would be in that category because they got housed by San Francisco.
Why are you ragging on WCC?
Go ahead.
Hang on.
You two can have the stage.
Have you not seen Gonzaga go to the championship?
Gonzaga's fantastic. They're It's still St. Mary's.
You're not helping.
But the Dons are not, and you should never lose to the Dons by 37 points.
The Dons are coming into their own now. I don't like
they
the Dons.
Haven't been good.
I don't like Gonzaga at
Bill
all.
Russell.
I don't like BYU, and thank God they're gone. But St. Mary's is a fucking good basketball team.
They are.
Let's just.
They are. My bad. Okay, my bad.
I might have to pipe up here in a second.
I so want a St. Mary's U of A matchup just for you two.
I played him in the tournament.
I was there when he played.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
right up there against Lowry. How did that work out?
There's so much I want to say about that game.
Please do.
No, I can't because then I'll be throwing one of my boys under the bus.
Oh, what? No, come on.
We should have won that game is all I'm going to say.
You guys lost by double digits. What do you mean you should have won that game?
We were up by double digits going into a very specific period during that game. That's all I'm going to say, all right?
Look, I hope you get your chance at revenge against
Didn't you guys play VCU that first round?
Yeah, we smoked them too.
Yeah, you did. I was there for that.
We smoked them
Let's
too.
look at some of the super chats that we have before we have a full-on altercation here.
I was losing this.
This now sounds like Dylan Brooks Draymond right here. A much lamer version because Saul's involved.
Same podcast.
Same pod.
Steve Bowdy Bay says, Jock, if we win it all, Mikal and Cam first half of the season contributed big time. Would you invite them to the parade?
You have access, unofficial, but celebrating.
Would I invite Mikal and Cam to the?
They wouldn't come.
I feel like
they wouldn't. They probably wouldn't come. But
come.
I mean that's probably not my place to invite them either. I'm fresh, man. I'm fresh on the scene, so I'll let the other boys do that.
So. Super chat from DC. Thanks, DC. Jock and Katie better than MJ and Pippen.
I've seen so many of these kinds of memes around. Like, so many. Oh, my God. But, yeah, I mean, if you want, mate, like, sure.
Which are you, MJ or Pippen?
Probably Pippen.
I don't know. You always come in here with such swagger and confidence. I thought you might say MJ.
not on that one, mate.
How about you and me? One. You're MJ, and I'm the guy that got the security guard that
doing
that guy. Yeah, that's me. All right.
Nah, you were one of the blokes in the background.
Fair enough. At least I was there. Let's end this one with a little fun, as if not insulting me isn't fun enough. There's this meme floating around online that says you have to survive 20 minutes with one of the following animals to receive $100 million: a bear, a tiger, a hippo, or an alligator. Who are you choosing? Jock, you can start.
Wait. So I have to survive against that.
For 20 minutes.
Alligator.
Yeah.
It depends on the environment. Am I on dry land or am I in the water?
It's a good question. I'm going to say you're in the water.
Oh,
well,
shit.
That changes everything.
That completely changes.
You're in. Yes, they have home court advantage.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So
that
what is it? Bear,
game.
tiger,
hippo, and alligator.
I'm not going in the water. That's just not going to happen. Jeez.
I think the answer here is if you're in their home. I go bear. As long as the bear has not snorted like a bunch of cocaine right
It's not
before.
cocaine
Sure.
bear.
As long as
What's your plan of attack? Like how you?
curl up and act like I'm already dead. That's my plan of attack.
But that only works
so
against
you're
black
not
bears.
fucking winning any money.
Yeah, no.
Do I look like I'd win against anything? Like that's my best hope.
A bear might think that you're like one of them. So
Yeah.
like,
Hey,
you know what I mean?
I just don't have to die. It doesn't mean that we can't have relations if that's where
Oh
it goes.
my God.
It's 100 million
Dude, what are we
bucks.
talking about? Espo? Relations?
That's not where I was
Oh
going
my
at
God.
all.
What? Oh
You need
my
to get to that date with the wife.
ASAP. Oh my God.
What?
Oh my God.
I'm probably gonna go the bear though. I'm probably gonna go the bear.
How are you going to beat the bear?
You have to.
I'm
you
just
have to
running
survive.
away. I'm
Dude,
not,
the
I'm
bear
not,
is fast.
I'm not outpacing a tiger.
Yeah,
I'm
the
not
tiger's
out climbing
faster.
either of them, so it's got to be on the feet. I'm running,
Man.
and I'm not going to out wrestle him. Like if you think you're going to go in there and beat one of them up,
Yeah, and you got to remember, he's the one on this set outside of Gerald that's in shape, so he can go with the running. I do that, I'm dead in 2 minutes.
Oh,
Like the bear's catching me.
or I might also like
The hippo.
bring out my like inner Steve Irwin, Crocodile Dundee, and take the alligator
Right.
and
I
wrestle
mean-
it.
Just Ace Ventura.
Yeah,
You might be able to do that better than outrun a bear.
yeah.
Did you really suggest hippo? You know how vicious hippos are?
Yeah, but again,
No.
hippos got to catch you on the ground.
We're in the water.
Yeah, you're in the water.
Oh,
with
yeah,
the
that's
hippo.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I-
You ever seen that
honestly-
video of the hippo like coming up out
On that
the
boat?
back of the boat?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I was like, fuck that.
I will say this: if a hippo got me, he'd probably smash my head like a watermelon, and I'd be out of my misery real quick.
That's true.
That is such a
So you're going for the quick death, not the
very
money.
fatal
I'm still going with the money.
There's no way I'm going to
I'm
survive 20
inevitably
minutes in the
dying,
water.
so-
I'm gonna go the alligator.
The
I'm running alligator.
tiger.
Gerald?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the alligator. I think you just stay on top and keep its mouth as shut as you can. And
In the
that's-
water.
I mean, there's no good.
There's no
option
staying
here.
on top in the water. He just spins you.
There's no good option here.
But if alligators aren't hungry, there's no leave you alone.
Well, we're going to go with they're hungry.
I mean,
wow.
And the bear's on cocaine.
that's the point. There
not
is
the
no
bear.
good option here. That's why you'd win 100 million if you won it. Like
Yeah.
if it was like, hey, Flamingo or these other three, yeah, you know what the hell you're doing.
Yeah,
But,
you're losing a limb or two regardless.
Right.
So yeah.
We'll end on one other note.
Mm.
Beef, is it good? Not the food, but arguments. Is it good for the NBA?
100%. I think that like the technical rules should definitely like take a massive step back. I don't think players should be out there punching each other in the face, but I think that we should be able to embrace the culture of basketball and like talk to one another in a competitive manner and kind of get after in that regard and have beef with one another or whatever that might look like. But I think they need to take a step back on these tech rules because it's like you're trying to take the emotion out of the game when we're a bunch of emotional, highly competitive individuals, and it's just like I don't think that that's good for it at all because then you feel like a bit of a robot. So I think they should let that stuff run way more than they do.
You can tell us. Do you have any surprising beef? Anybody you got beef with?
Yeah, one, but I'm not going to say his name.
You looked at me like I got beef with you too, but that's not on
Well,
the
it was
Nah.
you, and then it turned to Saul with all the WCC.
I really wanted to ask Jock this question, but I really don't want to get him a fine. But I will say that I was a big fan of Fred VanVleet's little tirade the other day
Oh yeah.
I
about the
haven't
refs.
seen it. I only heard about it.
Is
He went
one of the top 10 rants I've ever heard of all time.
Yeah, right.
And it was he was very like Hannibal Lecter about it, just very calm. He was just dropping F-bomb after F-bomb after F-bomb, calling
Love
the officials out and everything. It
And
was
30
crazy.
grand is all he got.
Yeah, that's it.
Got his money's worth.
He
for
did.
Sure.
He
Yeah,
did.
that's good.
No,
Do you have
that's all.
anything, Gerald?
No. I was
No,
gonna ask the exact
This-
question you asked. so.
I think this is officially the fewest minutes Gerald's talked in a show, and I apologize, Gerald.
it's fine.
That's the end of our program.
Don't try and act like a good guy now the show's
No,
right.
I'm not a good.
You're talking
I'm not-
over him the whole time.
I've never been a good guy.
Yeah,
I mean, nobody claimed I am. I'm not used to hosting. Lindsay was like, "I'm done. I'm not. You host." So I had to do it. So I do what I have to do.
It's not exactly how that went
That
down.
isn't- that isn't how it went down at all.
Lindsay, let me host just one time.
let me please. You can follow Saul at Saul_Bookman. You can follow Gerald at Gerald Bourget. You can watch Jock tomorrow night as he takes on, well, the whole team, not just Jock. Jock's just taking the kids.
Jock versus Kings. Let's go.
Let's go.
You can follow the show at PHNX_Suns. You can follow me at Espo. And remember, Jock really does like me, no matter what he says. Ahoy,
Bullshit.
before you
Lifestyle is retro. Tell the Phoenix Metro. Megas in control and he ain't never gonna let go. PHNX though, Lindsey, Gerald, Espo. Saw pass the ball, we here to turn up the tempo. Got to understand me, y'all always rep the family. Rally in the valley like Dan G.